Welcome to Restorative Yoga 101. Today, I will be teaching you a combination of yin yoga and storytelling in order to provoke mind-boggling experiences. Enjoy. We're going to spend our first minute doing a sun salutation in order to get the blood flowing so we can have amazing and delicious stretches. So, I'll walk you through this as we do a sun salutation. Please get into extended mountain pose. To do this, stand up near the front of your yoga mat with your hands above your head and take a nice swan dive down. Really stretch out those arms while you exhale into forward fold. And inhale into flat back and release. Step or jump back into plank. Lower chaturanga. Hold it. Good. And release into cobra. Very good. Now arch that back into downward dog. Take 3 long breaths. Very good. Now bring your feet forward into a forward fold and inhale into flat back. Release down and reverse swan dive up. Really stretch those arms and hands to heart center. Very good. Now that we've done our warm-up sun salutation, we're going to get into some yin yoga and storytelling. So, our first pose is a bound angle stretch. In order to get to it, we're going to bring our arms up to extended mountain and yet again swan dive down, stretching the arms wide as you go into a forward fold. This time, put your hands on the floor, step or jump back into plank and lower chaturanga. Go up into cobra and release into downward dog. Good. Now step forward and sit on your butt. Very good. Now we're going to hold each pose for roughly 3 minutes. So now that we're sitting on our butt, we can get into bound angle. Bring your feet in, and remember that as we evolve in this stretch, you want to bring your back further forward in order to really stretch your lower back and your hips. Let the 3 minutes start now. Imagine you are in a small dwarven mining town. All around, you hear the sound of hammers and forges as the dwarves are to work making weapons, hammers, swords. You are going to war, but not yet. There must be preparation. As you walk down the cold cobblestone path, you notice that your feet are bare and small pebbles slowly dig into your skin, but you don't care because everyone else's feet are bare too. You stroke your red beard and peer down the street as you see a tavern. As you approach the tavern, there is a song sung by dwarves that you recognize, but cannot sing as you are a stranger to this land. Against your will, your friends grab your hand and drag you into the tavern. All the while you are screaming, but not disrupting the sound of the chanting dwarves. They take you up to the bar, and you order a glass of water. Midway through a sip of your glass of water, you see an elderly-looking dwarf to your right, staring deep into your eyes. "Why don't you get a more refreshing drink, young one?" You stare back at him, confused, because you could hardly hear what he said over the ruckus of the crowd behind you. "The choice is yours, young dwarf." "Not very talkative, are you, son? I'll tell you what. You put that glass of water down. I have something to show you. You seem like a soul in need." You aren't opposed to this, so you follow him out of the tavern, seeming that it is awkward inside anyways. He slowly, with a cane and his beard jiggling, much larger than your beard, of course, walks down the cobblestone path. You feel the gravel against your feet yet again. As he walks, he slowly talks to you. It is much easier to hear now, and his low, raspy voice echoes through the wind as you exit the town on a narrow dirt road. "My son, my son in spirit, you must follow me to the top of this mountain." He points to a very snowy and steep slope ahead and to your right. The only challenge left is to scale the steepest part of the mountain. There we shall both discover the true meaning of why we are here. Follow me, young one. Still unopposed, yet confused, you follow him. He quickly ventures off of the narrow road and through grass. Your bare feet like this because the grass is soft and not prickly. The incline quickly steepens and the grass vanishes to rough rock. You must mantle many times onto ledges of smooth quartzite. Yet on top, the grains of sand dig into your hands as you pull yourself up. It seems like you do this hundreds of times until finally you are near the top of the mountain. It seems impossible at first, but you realize that the elderly dwarf is already at the top, his cane in the air, yelling at you. You can barely hear him through the gusts of wind blowing you almost off of the mountain. Up here. He sounds like a whisper, although you know he's shouting at the top of his lungs. Great job with your bound angle stretch. Now, let us go into table pose and into pigeon on the right foot. You begin to scale the talus field of steep quartzite, and you quickly realize that it is much easier than expected. All you must do is leap from one rock to another without falling. As a dwarf, you are very sure-footed, so this is not difficult for you. And you quickly reach the top of the mountain. The first thing you notice is that the wind has suddenly stopped. Switch feet with your pigeon so that your left foot is in the stretch now. It seems like a paradise up here. There is even green grass that you can rub your toes through. Quickly, though, this feeling fades. You see the elderly dwarf peer into the distance and point. He says, "This is what you are up against, young one. I cannot do the things that you can do." What you see takes you by complete and utter surprise. It is an army, larger than you have ever seen in your life, marching towards you. The only thing in their path is the mountain in which you stand on. Even in the time that you have been standing here, it seems that the army has moved a mile, yet it is completely filled the land. No spaces in between, it seems, each individual in that army. It never stops. Even in the distance, all you can see is army. Otherwise, no one will survive. Not even our best warriors. They will be slaughtered. My son, all of hope has been lost. You see the army. You nod. That army is unstoppable. Each soldier is trained better than the last. And each soldier will stop at nothing but to kill all of the dwarves in their path. Our only hope as a species is to go into the catacombs and ride it out as they pass over us thundering. Our final stretch is the forward fold. Place both legs in front of you and extend your hands. Remember, as time goes on with the stretch, you will hopefully be able to put your hands further down your legs. Go ahead and go into table pose now. Sitting straight up, taking the right knee and the left arm and twisting them into a spinal twist. You are presented with a moral dilemma. Will you go to war against an army of impossible defeat and suffer the consequence of death for your race? Or will you cower in the catacombs with many of the other dwarves? Great job with today's restorative yoga session. We hope you had fun.